Ellmir first came to the rehearsal room at 15. 3 years later, he has just completed his first guest role on Neighbours, where he very successfully created a challenging character, the school bully. To do this, he used a fundamental rehearsal room technique to powerful effect. To simplify the acting process, we use a simple list of verbs. We call it the character's need. But Ellmir very effectively adapted this practical tool to his own mindset.
Before I attended the rehearsal room, I used to go in auditions with an accustomed way of how I would play the scene, and my idea only in that sense. So I'd go in, I'd do my scene, and then the director would ask me, okay, well, can we change it and do it this way? But because I'd been accustomed to one way, I'd find it extremely hard to change and do it another way. So by using this process, the rehearsal room process, going into the audition room, I don't feel as nervous. I'm open-minded in that sense. I don't overthink the scene and I don't overthink the character. I simply learn my lines, read a bit of the character description to understand what the character's about, family history, things like that. And I go into the audition room, and right before the director yells out action, I simply put in a need. A need that just pops into my mind at that instant, and that's what adds that complexity to the character and the scene. Yeah.
So it's kind of an intuitive choice at that time. You go on the vibe, boom, I'm going to do this one.
Exactly. Yeah. Completely right. Yeah.
It sounds risky, doesn't it? But that list of verbs is brilliant. Because it's simple and active, his experience tells him he can trust it, and therefore, once he's made his choice, that's what he does. He trusts it to work so that he can focus on another important element, that of listening and responding. So he's actually removed a huge element of risk from his performance because it is now driven by his honest listening. What's the advantage of that, do you think?
Well, it helps me not stress in the audition room, in a sense.
Cool, brilliant.
Yeah, it helps me not stress because it happens naturally. And that's the thing that a lot of actors find. I think that what I see, scenes are unnatural and they're not listening because they only know one way. Whereas this need allows you to be natural and not to be an actor, but just to be a person talking.
That's because you've just put it in now, so you haven't had time to think.
Correct, you haven't had time to think about anything.
So you now have to listen, is that what it is?
That's right, you have to listen, and that's where the natural acting just comes in. And it's just a person-to-person conversation. Vulnerability is there, complexity is there within the scene and each of the characters, and that's what makes a great scene in that sense, yeah.
Ellmir has been very clever. He has elevated his trust and confidence in his listening to a point where he knows that he can deliver no matter what the circumstances. And he speaks so clearly about his acting process because he understands exactly what he's doing and he knows that it works.